did involve the community. And I think that's a really important point. Obviously, there's a lot of the community here today. And I think it's a mistake to think that it's only the workers in the hospital that have an interest in the hospital. I think it's really important to see that everybody that you meet on the street when you start talking to them about saving the hospital, it's as important to them as if they work there, especially if they've got a child. I'm always meeting people that have just had a baby and suddenly they turn from being a young person into somebody that's got somebody that they're going to be worried about more than themselves, that is their child. Or if you've got older parents, or if you are getting older, you know, suddenly the NHS becomes really important to you. So involving the community, and I think involving the clinicians as much as possible, because they've got the kind of inside knowledge. And certainly the doctors in Lewisham and some of the nurses played a key role in our campaign, in giving us information, in providing, in writing letters, etc., etc. And I also think it's really important to involve local MPs and councillors of all kinds. Our local Labour MPs, I don't think it's any accident that, you know, Lewisham's got 3 Labour MPs and they decided to try out this TSA process on our area, because it didn't matter, because they've got 3 Labour MPs. And our Labour MPs have been fantastic, really, really good, and can't be faulted. I also think that, excuse me if I'm telling you something that you've already been doing for several years, it's really important to campaign on several fronts at once and in several ways. So, as well as big things like demos, we've kept on kind of street activity in stores week after week after week, and certain people have played a key role in that. You know, raising funds for leaflet and poster production, and I see you've got a great logo and poster now, and we had one as well, which was, you know, keep calm, don't keep calm, get angry and save Lewisham Hospital. And that became our kind of badge, and everybody recognised it, and that was in every window at one period. Well, not every, but lots. We also explored the legal avenues. I think you've got to rattle the cages, you know, the parliamentary ones. And also, a big one, I think, for me, is media and social media and all of that stuff. You know, if somebody doesn't know about what you've done, whether it's a tiny little stall on a street, or a tiny little demo, or a huge demo, or a small activity, if nobody knows about it, then it hasn't happened. You've got to absolutely maximise everything that you do in terms of publicity. And that begins to sort of have an effect on councillors and MPs and people like that. I think that's really important. I can talk lots more about things like that, but we've really explored things like, we've used the website, which I do, and Facebook and Twitter enormously, and we really maximise that. And if you have a team of people, we've got 2 people that work the media for us that are part of our campaign. Myself and someone else has done the website and Facebook and Twitter, and we work together to really maximise the effect of every single thing that you do. And just finally, because I know that I've overrun, but some of the things that we've done have been really imaginative. One of the things we have in our campaign, as well as a general committee and a steering group, is that we have what are called working groups for different activities. And those are some of the most creative parts of the campaign, where people really get down to practical things. So whether it's organising a demonstration, or we've got something called an anti-marketisation group, which is really going into depth about all the ways that privatisation stuff is going on, both locally and nationally. But, you know, we've had really fantastic things like our buggy army. Our pensioners group did a trolley army march down Lewisham High Street. You know, there were only about 50 people, but it was all over the local press. And things like petitions. People love signing petitions. If you're just giving out a leaflet, that's one thing, but if you have a petition, then people will come and sign them. So, just finish with one of the things that we did was when we thought we weren't going to win our legal case. We're absolutely sure at one stage that we couldn't possibly win. I mean, nobody wins things, but yesterday in court, not people like us. So we decided we would have our own People's Commission. And rather, we wrote to Michael Mansfield, we thought we'd go to the top. And very surprisingly, he agreed to chair our commission. And 12 of his barristers worked with us, and Barry and Carol were very involved in this as well, to hold our own sort of People's Tribunal. We held it in the Broadway Theatre, and the council backed us with some money for that, as well as campaign money. And we went through all the evidence, because in that TSA process that was voted through yesterday, the Clause 119, it's not just for Lewisham now, it's for the whole goddamn country. You know, where they can find one hospital in trouble and go into a hospital in another trust and decide to close it down. That's what it means. And this tells you all about the disgraceful lying, misuse of data, distortion of facts, all the stuff about, oh, well, we're going to have community-based services, but there's no money for those. All the things about big hospitals going to save your lives, when actually you've got to get to a local hospital if you're elderly, if you've got a child, or if you're disabled. You know, please don't talk about that until you've put the structure in to change things, and I'm afraid they haven't. There was no money allocated for community services by the TSA in Lewisham. All the clinical opinion, the patient opinion, the local opinion, the council opinion was completely ignored. So what was said in Parliament yesterday was a pack of lies, and people that supported it should be totally disgraced.